Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing this morning? Good morning, Martinez. Good morning, Patrick. Thank you for the news in Sterling and the power outage in France and Spain and Portugal. What else do we have here? Where's the good morning? There it is. There's the good morning, Sterling. What else do we have? Lots of percent things talking this morning. Hello, Daniel. Hello, let's see. Who else is here? Good morning, John. Good morning, Royal Paws. Small move today, likely today. Lots of stuff coming up this week, but not a lot of news out today, so it's all going to be related to tariff and trade things. Good morning, Heinrich. So we're sort of coiling up for the next move right now. What else do we have? Good morning, Heinrich. I said that. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Anissa. Sterling will put in some earnings, but let's just get straight to it. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Today we have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index and 3 and 6 months bill auctions. Tomorrow we have retail inventories, wholesale inventories, Red Book, house price index, JOLTS job openings and job quits, consumer confidence, Dallas Fed Services Index. So you got manufacturing day, services tomorrow. Wednesday is the big day. We got GDP numbers for the first quarter, advanced numbers for the first quarter's PCE for the first quarter, and then we have the core PCE. These normally don't release the same day, but we got the PCE numbers for March. So this is a big one on Wednesday. Big one on Wednesday. Thursday, we got initial and continued jobs claims in the ISM manufacturing, and then non-farm payrolls on Friday. And then remember, next week is the Fed meeting. So we have no Fed speak this week because they're in their blackout period. So we just get to deal with lots of earnings. Let's just peek at the earnings real quick. In terms of earnings, this morning we had Domino's. After the close, we got Waste Management. But today's a quiet day. You got Transocean. Tomorrow we start off with SoFi, PayPal, UPS, Coca-Cola, Pfizer. So you got a busy morning tomorrow. Then we got Visa, Starbucks, Snap in the afternoon. Wednesday, Caterpillar, Generac, Western Digital, Humana. But after the close, we got Microsoft and Meta, two big ones, and Qualcomm. Wednesday, remember, we have all those numbers in the morning, GDP and PCE numbers, and then after the close, Microsoft and Meta and Qualcomm. Thursday, Lilly in the morning, MasterCard, McDonald's. Then after the close, biggies here, you got Amazon and Apple. And then Friday, we finally get our ExxonMobil and Chevron. So, big week today, not a week we can take a nap during. Today, this morning, let's just do a quick refresh here. We got Meta, Google up, Amazon. So the mega caps besides NVIDIA are all slightly up, but nothing major going on. If we look to a refresh on our groups, we got comm services and consumer cyclical leading, energy lagging, but a lot of stuff just trading right around that flat mark besides consumer cyclical and comm services. Fed watch still has 4 rate cuts priced in through December of this year. Fear and greed index still in greed. PE ratio back to above 34. All right. What else? There you go. Domino's Pizza was a miss on revenue. Another miss on revenue. Those always make me sit up and take notice. Hello, Charles. Good morning, PMG. Howdy, Richard. Howdy. So let's take a look at the charts. We are getting cycles at the top area, nearly overbought, still heading up. So I will be watching for a topping pattern coming into this week, if there was one. Climbing again above the first target again on Friday, falling through a little, trading against Friday's high area. If we break through here, we have a key gap open target to about 55.85. That is the intermediate target I'm using. And then if we continue the rally, about 56, 56.30, 50 is an official second target. Okay. So we're basing right here, trying to form a base. I will be watching the 4-hour rotation zone on a pullback. 54.90 is very key support, and major support at this point is 53.80. Again, as I mentioned, 55.85 areas the next key target. Then you got that 56.30, and then if it does this week continue the full-blown double pattern, it's 57.38, 57.39 area. The Nasdaq hitting the second target. Hitting the second target on Friday. Going to be paying attention to the 4-hour rotation zone. So your first little level of support is coming in about 19,420. Significant support coming in about 19,250 to 260, and then beyond that it's about 19,080, 19,075. Again, hit the second target on that double. The final target is 19,973, but I'd definitely be raising stops at this point. Especially with daily cycles getting to the top area and overbought, and on a daily basis trading against the 50 EMA. Doesn't mean it has a stop here, but this is an area I'd be looking to definitely continue to trail a stop. The Dow, we did have a little mini double, remember, but this is now extended too far to the right, so that is off the table. All right, so on a continued move in the Dow, looking at around this 40,700 area and then 41,000. Those are the key upside targets. The little support base right now is coming in about 40,000. Other than that, not much to talk about. The Russell, also you had a double that never triggered, too far extended to the right. I'm watching the 4-hour rotation zone, and especially if we break below 1939. Other than that, a revisit of the prior harmonic right around this 1979 level, and then to the upside, we still have a key level at 1998 and then 2008. VIX, still watching for this to continue to grind lower and complete the 87.5 rule. Other than that, not much to talk about. Here's the daily chart of that. Coming into a very key support area also around that 87.5, around that 22 area. The DAX did complete. The DAX also completed the double bottom. Finally completed the sloppy double bottom pattern. Also, still we have the next magnet price of about 22,943 area based off the 87.5 rule. On any pullback, your major support is 21,901. Your minor support area I'm watching is right around 22,400. Let's see who else is here. Good morning, it's Options 22. Hello, Christoph. Thank you for tuning in. Notes, little gap open up to the upper end of the resistance range, but rotating back down. So I'm going to be really curious to see how this closes in roughly relation to 111.18. If we look at the yields still in the bigger consolidation pattern. Remember, I raised this last week, but I want to see if it reverts into this upper area. Again, the only thing that would really break this down at this point is a move below 4.18. Other than that, still seeing us trying to hold this slightly higher range. We did gap below it. We tested below it on Friday and closed back in it. We gap below it today, closing back in it. I'm keeping an eye on that. Is there any fantastic setup other than possible support trade down here? No. Dollar index. Now, this, remember the rule is you start counting from the one of the peaks to the other peaks. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bars. We then start the bar after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars. So if this goes 9 bars without triggering, the potential little mini double top is off the table. Okay? Then it's just a consolidation pattern. Just a refresher. Other than that, if we did something happen and we close back below 98.83, I'd watch for the continued pullback. Other than this, we are basing against here. So if we start in the minor sense breaking above 99.50 and then can follow through 99.76, I'll watch for a move to the other side of the rotation zone. We do have daily cycles back at the top though. That's why I'm still keeping an eye on that little 4-hour mini double. Crude, not much to talk about here. Just sitting in consolidation and congestion. Breakout level right now for, besides the sloppy lower probability inverse head and shoulders, we have the minor breakout level above 64 and the breakdown level below 62. Gold also just holding right here. Breakdown level, got really key support about this 3,275 area. We break below there, watching for 3243. Breakout level is 3373 area. Other than that, not much to talk about besides trading off support resistance. Copper, trying to base with the first cross rotation zone right at that 62.5. We technically have closed above the 62.5, so we have magnet prices higher. I'm paying attention to this 5.03 area, 5 to 5.03 on a breakout move there. The yen, again, not much to talk about here. We're getting daily cycles to the top, so same as the dollar index. If we do head lower, I'm going to be watching for a more substantial double bottom pattern to be forming. Looks like also on the euro, we could be forming a little head and shoulders topping pattern, but it's not fully formed yet. It's not fully formed yet. And I'd be looking really for the breakdown below this 112.80 area. Spiders. There's your spiders. Spiders hit the second target of the double on Friday. Gapping up today, so on any weakness would be to the gap fill 550.64. You're trading, your 50 EMA is trading at 555.85, and then the full target, remember we have a gap left behind to an open price of 555.05. So that's a key target area I'd be watching. This open price right here, with that 50 EMA on a continued rally, and then through that, we got 560.82 to complete the double, and then you have the full gap left behind to 564.52. Again, cycles getting to the top, so I'll be watching for a topping pattern coming in this week, especially with key data coming out. We don't have one yet. The Qs. Again, the Qs hit the second target again on Friday, or Thursday, sorry. Friday, we continued higher to the 50 EMA and the full target area with a key gap fill. The key gap fill is 476.15. The full target is 476.46. We're trading 473.40. So those are the upside targets I'm watching, especially that gap fill. On any weakness would be to the gap to Friday, 472.56. All right. Bitcoin. Trying to base just below the 62.5. So I'm keeping very key eye on to see if we close above 96,256, which would invalidate the final target on the double and shift the probabilities back to possibly testing 105 area. What have I missed here? So what do the potential odds say Palantir does if it sees 125 area again going into earnings next Monday? Well, again, we have still the magnet price of 118, and then you have the earnings. So, I mean, I'd still be trading off the magnet price, but there's no short-term topping pattern just in place. We'll have to see if one forms ahead of earnings. Larger picture, you could have a massive double here. Other than that, you still have your trend is up in the short term, and there's not much else to talk about besides that 118 being the magnet price. You did do a gap fill from the gap left behind that started the whole downwards move. That was officially filled on Friday and continuing higher. Was Tesla changed their biz model, rolled themselves into the required tariffs. Each country must sell Teslas and bring in Starlink, no exceptions. Okay, I didn't see that. I did not see that. But Tesla right now, again, trading right against this 200. If it does break out higher, the very key target is about 313. 313. I'm still watching for rollover plays in Tesla. But we had a huge gamma squeeze on Friday. So that's why I'll be very patient. Huge gamma squeeze on Friday. What else? NVIDIA invalidating the final target on the double. So we're going to be watching again. You got a lot of things still heading higher in the short term. A lot of things still heading higher in the short term, coming into a very key resistance area. That's what I'm also watching. We're getting into some topping patterns setting up for this week, but nothing substantial yet. You were kidding. He supports their valuations. I can see where that's a joke. But Tesla, it's still. For the people who want to play this to the bullish side, we had a gamma squeeze, but I'm still watching for rollover plays. Again, we're still against the rotation zone. Now, could this gamma squeeze continue? Easily, because we had the disastrous earnings. What else? I'm not seeing a lot else. We got things like Microsoft earnings this week. We do have a potential double bottom pattern in Microsoft. Keep an eye on that. Meta, going into earnings, we have a potential double bottom pattern in that. Apple, there is no potential double bottom pattern in that. There's just not a great setup in that, trading against a very key breakdown level. If it does continue higher with earnings, we got the overhead, very key resistance in 200 area. What else? What else am I missing? I know I'm forgetting something else. Amazon, that's the one. Amazon, we also have a potential double. So lots of potential doubles heading into earnings. We're going to have to see if those trigger. It will be interesting with the Mag 7 reporting a lot. So that's where we sit. I mean, I'm keeping an eye on these doubles I just went over. That's why I wanted to highlight them. We got Meta, we got Amazon, we got Microsoft, all with potential doubles heading into a very key earnings week. And we have also cycles at the top on the indices, but not yet rolling over. So this is going to be a fascinating week to trade. We could see some volatility, and we always have the tariff announcements or the trade deal announcements headed into that. We won't have Fed speak until next week. So we have that at least out of the equation, but everything else will be, especially today, off the news cycle, and that's where we sit. Thank you for tuning in. Again, going into the open, I'm keeping a very key area on the tick. See if we pull back at all and then can break out above Friday's highs and continue, especially in the S&P, to this 55.85 area today without anything on the horizon in terms of major events. Besides, we only have the little Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index at 10:30 Eastern Time. All right. One we don't cover very often. What do I think of longer term bonds? Why did that? What do I think of these? Again, we're still in a massive consolidation pattern right now. A massive consolidation pattern. So there's just not a great setup from my perspective. That's why, and I don't normally cover these, but there's just not a great setup. We have the volatility, trying to put in potentially a longer term base, but nothing yet. Nothing yet. You can see here, it's been in this massive range for from the end of 23 through now. Yes, we've gone up, we've gone down, but it's just in a massive consolidation range. All right. With that, I will talk to everyone tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful trading day, a wonderful trading week filled with lots of potential volatility and key earnings and key economic releases. Until then, I'll talk to everyone later. Bye for now.